Looking at using this in a dark room without using the ring light, this is what you can expect. Absolutely nothing, so you are going to want to use the inbuilt ring light so you can at least be seen. And when we switch it on, there is a lot of grain, especially in the back of the image, but the movement isn't too bad. When we come close, it produces a pretty good image, but the colours are really dull. It's almost as if it's in black and white. There are 6 different light settings and 5 different colour temperatures which are controlled using the inbuilt remote, and these should allow you to get yourself a better final picture. But if you are in a dark room like we are, the different colour temperatures didn't really make much of a difference, but these range from 3200k all the way up to 6500k. Now, having natural light coming in from outside with no ring light on, and it's awful. It really does rely on that ring light to be able to show anything. Turning on the ring light, and it starts out being very blurry, but it does autofocus. Again, the colours are so dull on this, and we're still getting a lot of grain to the overall image. When we cover up the lens and move our hand away, it does a really weird thing with the colours as it tries to brighten the image back up, and once it's completed, it actually produces the worst final image. Switching on the light in our room and using no ring light, and the overall image is terrible. There's a lot of pixelation and it looks out of focus, and there's a weird purple light at the top of the image as well. Switching on the ring light, and this produces a much better picture, but that weird purple light remains. We notice that if we move our hands towards the lens, then the image goes dark and brightens back up when we move our hand away. When we move around, then it seems to struggle to keep us in focus. Focusing on a small Lego character, and this starts out really blurry, but the focus gets picked up when it's around a foot away from the lens. When we move towards the lens quickly, you'll notice that the light is bouncing off our fingers, and it takes a second or so for the webcam to adjust the colours. Testing it on text, and it wasn't too bad. We could get close to the text and it was readable even on the smallest font. Loading up OBS and using the chroma key filter to remove our green screen, and it didn't do a good job at all. We played around with the settings and we got it to look a little better. We noticed that we also looked quite blurry when we were doing this test as well, and we were overexposed on our head. We tried to manually set the exposure in the settings, and although we could move the slider around, it didn't change anything at all, so it looks as though you are stuck with the auto exposure on this. You can disable the autofocus and set that yourself if you want to. When we did a test in a natural setting, it started off with pretty good focus, but then it adjusted itself and made the image really blurry, and whilst it tried to adjust itself, it never did manage to pick up that crisp focus, which is quite disappointing. We did move our hand in front of the lens again to test out the colour compensation, and it seems to take a little longer for it to adjust the colours back to what they were. Now, the microphone on this is external, and it comes with a wind filter, and it clips onto the top of the frame of the ring light, and this is what it sounds like. This is a microphone test using the Comokin webcam. This is using the filter on top as well. This is the kind of audio you can expect from the inbuilt microphone. This is another microphone test, and this time this is without the filter installed. You may be able to hear my PC, which is just down here. This is the kind of audio you can expect from the inbuilt microphone. It can be installed using the clamping system or the included tripod, and both of these screw into the bottom of the ring light. Using the clamp seemed to be okay on our laptop, but if you're trying to mount it onto a monitor with any kind of curve on the back, then it's not going to stay on. Also, if you're putting it onto a screen with thin bezels, then you may begin to put pressure onto your screen, so be wary of that. Now, this webcam is available on Amazon in Germany, and it costs £49.39 without the 30% off voucher, but this is way too much. You could pick up something like the Creative Cam Sync V2, which is currently £34.99, and it's going to give you a much better and more consistent picture, and it's not going to look as though everything is in black and white.